Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm checking out the Gundam AGE-3 Normal. For me, Gundam Age kits really do hold a special place in my heart because when this series came out in 2011 is when I moved to Japan way back, well, in 2011. So that's the Gundam show that was absolutely everywhere. Bandai had such a push on this particular series. They were working with the absolute anime masters that are level 5, and this was one of their biggest pushes towards getting to the younger market. So way back then, I definitely did kind of, in my mind, slot all the Gundam Age kits into the kind of kiddie bracket, which was definitely a huge disservice to this line. So if you've done exactly what I did, then hold on to your ass, because this is a ridiculously good high grade for something that is 9 years old. And I will mention, the master grades really did sell me on Gundam Age. If you've never checked it out, it's a decent series and totally worth the watch. Anyway, if you do want one of these of your own, I got mine through Hobbylink Japan. They sent it on to me, so if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. Now here we go. So anyway, there's the Gundam AGE-3 with absolutely everything that it comes with, and in the box we get the AGE-3 itself, this segment for the parts formation, an included stand, the big ol' Sigma Sis rifle, we've got one widespread extended hand, and a pair of beam sabers. And finally then in here we've got a little sheet of stickers. It's not the worst, but we'll see them very soon in the aesthetics right now. So anyway, jumping right on into the aesthetics, and this right here is Gundam Age's answer to the Double Zeta. It's got so many things in common with it. It's big, it's chunky, and it's got those big old flat flipper-like shoulders. I don't even know, wings? But yeah, the Gundam AGE-3 is such an awesome mobile suit, and I can't, well, go back to the fact that there was a prototype of a master grade of this kit way back when at the Gundam Expo as well as the Age FX. I have to start everything I ever say about the Gundam AGE-3 with that fact. We were so close to having a master grade, and that absolutely sucks. Anyway, back to this. But yeah, this is an absolutely beautiful model kit right here. At first I was a little bit like, when I opened the box, because the colors of the plastic are very similar to the beginning Gundam. These are very bright, very primary, but they're used in a lot more, well, of a tasteful way on this particular suit. Everything is broken up nicely, the angles are great, and I always forget just how much I do love the mechanical design of Gundam Age mobile suits. They're just so tidy. And the same goes for this right here. The color separation is fantastic. It's hard for me to believe that this is a kit from 2012. It is that nice. It's robust, feels good, looks great, has minimal stickers, and it's just a joy to build. Even though this particular mobile suit does rock somewhat of a transformation, it doesn't undermine the model kit like it does a little bit in the Gundam Age-2 and a lot of bit in the Master Grade Gundam Age-2. I was going to mention that Master Grade Age-3 again, but there's no point. But it doesn't hurt any less. But yeah, once again, it's blocky, strong looking, the design is fantastic, the color usage is very unique, and let's get this thing spinning. So there is that full 360 spin, as usual, so you can see every angle of this kit for yourself in case I forget to mention something or there's something that you want to see. I'll also throw up the original art of this particular mobile suit on the right so you can compare and contrast. And what can I say? This is an awesome variant of one of the Age mobile suits that is designed based on the Double Zeta. It's got such a cool, almost X-like shape with those thick legs, narrow waist, and big old flared out shoulders. This looks like one powerful mobile suit. It is also really hefty in the hand as well, and it does kind of feel like it's made out of ABS when it is not. It's apparently made out of polystyrene, but it's got an interesting feel to it. It's a very robust kit, and it looks just as hefty as it feels. The color separation once again is great. The only stickers we have are on the eyes, chest, on the head, and there's some white ones around on the backpack. We'll take a look at that, well, I guess, right now. So anyway, this little sheet of stickers down here is all that comes included, so there isn't too many. I've used some of them, not all of them. Now let's talk about them. So these are the old style stickers that are in the Japanese kana. So the first one right there is A, which is for the eyes, which is a normal sort of sticker. Same goes for E and U, those are the ones on the front camera and rear camera on the head. E is on the rifle, which we'll be taking a look at very soon. O is the one in the chest, that A-shaped Gundam Age unit in the chest. Ka and Ki, they are around here on the core fighter, those little white segments up there. That's those. Ku, which I did not use, just goes on these little recessed edges of the shoulders. There's 4 of those, that's for the front and the back of both shoulders. These ones here, these were for in the inside of the thrusters, you can see those right there. And the last one then is Ko, and this I have no idea, let me check the manual. That one also goes on those rear thruster units, but towards the back, on this little segment right here. So now jumping into ye old size comparison, there is the AGE-3 beside a standard size Gundam, so it's a fairly hefty Gundam. A little bit taller than a standard Gundam like the RX-78-2 right here, and a little more bulk in, well, different places, not the waist. Next up there it is side by side with Earth-3, so Earth-3 is a little bit twisted. Pull yourself together, man. The real grade Unicorn Gundam. And finally then beside the real grade new Gundam HWS. So now moving into the accessories and once again jumping right on back to the beginning of the review. And here is everything that the AGE-3 Normal comes with. So let's check it all out. As for hands in here, we've got your standard old holding hands for holding things, believe it or not. But we also have one left-hand widespread dynamic hand. So to attach this, as usual, just pops off. Pop in the one that you want, which is the only other one you have. And there we go, looking dynamic. I'm always disappointed when a kit does not come with at least one dynamic hand because it makes such a massive difference compared to the standard block hands. These are great for when you're holding on to things, or should I say when the mobile suit's holding on to things, but when it's not, something like this looks a lot more natural and a lot more dynamic. Next up, we've got those beam sabers with those cool AGE flat pink beams. These can be held in the hands in that standard way that they do. There is an example of what the Gundam AGE-3 Normal looks like holding on to one of its cool flat beam sabers, but we also have another option in here, and that is my favorite option of all, wrist mounted beams. This is the best. There's nothing cooler than that. The ability to just deploy a beam saber on the fly like this, you know, it just makes so much sense. You save so many seconds, it's absolutely instant, and honestly, it just always looks so cool. This also moves around this little segment here, so you can get multiple angles out of it if you want to. When you're not actually using your beam saber, just pop out the beam. You can flip this segment out like so, which is very cool. In there, we've got a recessed area for the beam saber, and then you can just pop it in. Simple as, and I assume that is what's powering the beam that's popping out there, and that's a really cool idea. It's almost being used like a battery. Next up then, we've got the big old Sigmaxis cannon. This is mainly made out of two large parts for the body of the weapon, and the handle then is made out of 3 different pieces that can move around. Let's check it out. So attaching this is simple enough. You just pop it into the hand, it holds in well, and it just flips around like that. Simple. Nothing really connects into the arm or anything like that, but it still seems to hold up pretty fine. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what they did with the plastic on this particular kit, but it's so solid. Sure, it's dropping a little bit at the waist there. If you hit it a lot, it will drop it down that weapon. But for the most part, there's next to no sag, even though this is a large weapon. Everything on this is just so robust. And then he falls over. When it's not in use, you can just flip around the handle like so the handle is pointing the other way, and then stick it into the butthole like this, and that is what it looks like stored around back. Next up in here we do have a stand which can be used in a multitude of ways. The first is just as a normal stand. Pop that into the old hole between the legs, and it can be used like so, and we also have an arm around back here for when it is transformed. And speaking of the transformation, we do have this segment right here for transforming it. Now let's get it transformed. Actually no, let's not get it transformed. Articulation first. So checking out that build and the articulation, and like I mentioned already, this is so solid. I am blown away by that, no doubt. Anyway, the head here is the normal polycap double jointed neck, so that means it does have a all the way down, and that can spin all the way around, so pretty much anything you'd want. The shoulder joints on this are that AGE style one, so that means we've got one joint inside the shoulder right here, a polycap inside the shoulder right there, and what that gets us then in the end is that to the front and back, so not a whole lot there. The rotation is all the way around, the flaps can move up and down. There's the arm moving all the way up, full rotation at the upper arm. We've got a double jointed elbow, which gets you everything you could ever need. Cool spinny little shield, and this right here is the standard polycap wrist joint. The waist we've gotten here is the usual one, so that's a polycap joint, then a polycap joint, then it all pops together, and gives you more than you usually get in this situation. So that's not so bad. There's it all the way to the front, there's it all the way to the back. Actually, this is very nicely designed. Next up then, we do get the full rotation all the way around. As for the front skirting armor, I did snip these so they are independent. I don't recommend it. It makes them extremely loose. I did stick some white tack in there to stop them from falling off all the time, so that probably isn't the best idea. They don't hold on too well themselves. We've got a polycap side skirt up and down. rotation to the front, rotation to the back. We've got a big, somewhat premium butt flap back here with some thrusters in it, always cool. The waist joint here is awesome. That means we've got down and up to angle the legs as well as back and forward. That gives you a lot to play with. So as for the kicks we get out of that, there's the kick all the way up to the front, and that is nice. As for out to the back, it gets a little blocked by the butt flap, splits, no problem whatsoever. However, yeah, once again, you might want to not snip them in half. We've got that full spin at the upper leg, one killer double jointed bend at the knee, and some cool armor. This is nice. It flips up to keep the knee protected even when bent. That is super nice. I like that a lot. Slapping the leg on the ground now, and there's the ankle all the way to the front, so not too bad. There it is all the way out to the back, pretty damn good. And as for the side to side, we get there to there. This is a nicely designed kit, without a doubt. Lastly then, up in the backpack, we can bring this down and up like so, away from the body. And then these thrusters here are on ball joints. What can I say for a bulky bot? This is rocking some serious articulation, and on top of that, it is as solid as a brick shit house. This is impressive. Way more than I was expecting here. So now jumping into the transformation, and as usual in one of these reviews, this is my first time ever doing it, just to see whether or not it's difficult or easy the first time round. So first off, we need to pop off the backpack, then the unit attaching the head. Now this is unique. Just look how strange the Gundam looks, missing that head and chest area. This is a unique transformation without a doubt. Then we drop the section down with the age symbol underneath the head, pop open this flap on the backpack. The head section then just pops in there, it all closes up, flip up these two flippers on the side, and this is a pretty cool looking little core fighter right here. Next onto the G-Scepter part of the transformation. What we need is the alternate torso part. There is a parts formation here. We take off the torso that was part of the Gundam, replace it with this new alternate torso part, flip up the arms like so, kick up the legs. This is the part that really made me regret snipping the front skirt into two separate parts, because now it's just even more of a nightmare than before. I recommend not really doing that. Then just to line up the armor, flip back the toes, grab the old Sigma Sis rifle. You can close it up into a more compact form, attach it into that butthole like we did before, and there we go. There it is, complete. So in here we do have a display base for attaching both of these on. First off, I will mention that the G-Scepter right here looks a bit ridiculous. You can kind of see the crouching Gundam inside of it. There's the arms, there's the legs. It kind of looks like it's doing one of those Japanese apologies, like it's like getting down on the ground like Honto ni gomenasai. I mean, that is strange, definitely. However, the little core fighter is one of the coolest looking core fighters I've ever seen, and the fact that the head is in there hidden away is a pretty cool touch. Bandai really tried to keep the parts formation down on this kit, and it really does show. That is nice. So the core fighter pops up there, the G-Scepter apologizing Gundam, that then pops onto the lower segment then, like that. You can change the angle on these. The top one you need to actually pull out in order to get the angle to change, like so. We've lost the G-Scepter. Get on there. This one you do not need to pull out. It can just kind of click up and down like so. We're going to use the bottom selection. And then you get in there like that. And there goes one of those skirtings again. Oh, do not separate them. But yeah, anyway, there is the core fighter and the G-Scepter completed. It is really nice that there is a little display base in here. A very, very nice touch indeed. Bandai were really thoughtful with this kit. That base and the lack of, well, the general lack of parts formation besides one piece makes this quite the cool transformation that looks somehow, well, a little bit funny down bottom. Anyway, that right there is it for the review, and what can I say? I am totally impressed by this kit, and it's 100% gold tier right here. This is a solid kit with great color separation, great articulation, and a transformation that doesn't rely too much on alternate parts. But because we do have alternate parts in here, that means we do not have any loose aspects in the transformation, except, you know, I cut the side skirts which were attached in the box into two separate ones, and that kind of undermined that aspect. I don't recommend doing that in this kit, but besides that, this is gold tier to the core, a great kit, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As usual, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys for your support, including the channel members and members over on Patreon, Craig Jerry, Tyler Sanders, Brian Perez, Caleb Engelhart, and Sean T.